So a big thing if you're a Turo host are the airports, dropping off at the airport and kind of dealing with them. And depending on where you are, the airports can be very difficult, especially when working with Turo. And so there's a lot of regulations. And I feel like every week or maybe every month, there's always like new rules, and they're trying to implement stuff so hard, which makes sense. I mean, the airport's implementing on them, and then they implement it on us, which there's nothing wrong with that. And then there's even some cities and states where they can't even go to the airport. Like you can't deliver to the airport. It doesn't even show up on the Turo map. I've heard that San Diego. So I want to go to Turo. Don't want to go to listing. I want to go to, just want to see if this checks out. They said that if you look up on Turo, San Diego International Airport, let's see. They said that you can't even like find cars there. Like that's not a thing unless they change the algorithm to show cars off of site. Yeah, look at that. They literally, there's not a single car at the airport. I mean, you can zoom in, it'll show you the cars that are around it. But when you look at the actual airport, there's zero. And then if you change it to like Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport, which does have a license to do airport. Let's come out here. Interesting. Let me search this area. Okay, so it does. As you can see, there's literally cars inside of the airport. So like I said, there's some cities that allow it and there's some cities that don't. I'm assuming it's because the large car rental companies like Hertz and Avis are lobbying against it. But pretty much what this is this is our document for Phoenix Sky Harbor, which is this airport right here, our major airport in our area. And this is pretty much the rules and regulations. It's not always new rules and regulations. It's always kind of been the same, but they're always reinforcing it. And there's fines and there's penalties. So we're pretty much going to look at the language and stuff of what they have for the hosts. And the first thing is they only allow you to park at what we call the East Economy lot. It's one single parking lot. There's hundreds and hundreds of spaces, but sometimes they get completely full. They get so full to the point where you have to like go to the gate and there's somebody there and they say, do you have a reservation? If you don't have a reservation and you're not with Turo, they won't let you park there. So it's very, very limited. Even though there's hundreds of spaces, that's the first one that everybody uses. So you have to park there, or East Economy Sky Station curb, which is pretty much the same thing. Off airport, or this permit doesn't prohibit hosts from using shuttles permitted by the airport. So if you have a place, we have one called pre-flight, which is a parking structure that's right by the airport. So you can say that you're at the airport if you have a structure right by it and it has a shuttle that's contracted through the airport. So that's okay to do. Fees. So Phoenix Sky Harbor charges fees that go through Turo. Essentially, they're like airport fees, which we really don't have any control over or anything. Obviously, prohibited areas. This is pretty much going over all the different lots that people use. 24th Street is a really big one that a lot of people use. East Economy Garage A. This is interesting. So in East Economy lot, there's 2 parking structures enclosed. We can't use those, which is super weird because it's so restrictive. I mean, you're talking about a couple hundred spaces, which is quite a bit, but they're always filled. So the backup is to go in those garages, but we can't use those. So what's going to end up happening is the host can't use all these parking structures and they're going to want to go in these garages, but they can't. So they're literally going to have to go home or go to their office or wherever they're going to go and have the guests come to their place because they physically won't be able to drop it off, which is like a huge problem, as you can imagine. I mean, imagine 20, 30, 40 hosts going to the airport all in one day and they can't park their car. There's literally nowhere for them to go. And this happens more than you'd think. On the weekends especially, there's never any parking. So that's gonna be tough. On top of that, they have specific ways to do it. So dropping off and picking up vehicles at any of these unpermitted locations, you know, that's how they describe it. And then exchanging parking tickets to avoid or reduce parking fees. So you can't show up to the airport, have another car there that you're picking up, swap the tickets so the guest gets the old ticket and you get the new one so you can leave scot-free, pretty much spend $0. They don't want you to do that. Leaving a vehicle unattended for in-person drop-off. So you can't like exchange in person, you have to like drop it off and leave it. Performing in-person exchange, well, I guess that's talking about that as well, but that's talking about curbside. So you can't pull up on a curb like at the shuttle and exchange tickets or keys or whatever. I have gotten caught doing that and they got really upset with me. I kind of played dumb, but they were not having it. That was actually the only time I ever did it. And it's because we were late and the guest was upset. So it's like, okay, I'll just pull up and give it to you real quick. But I got caught, of course. Taking more than 5 minutes for an in-person drop-off, which is weird because they say you can't do it at all. So now is their time frame. Towing a vehicle, washing a vehicle, or using a trailer on airport property. Well, which makes sense. You're not allowed to do business on the airport property unless it's for Turo. Towing a vehicle, I mean, that one's tough. Like, what if the engine's blown? Like, how are you gonna get it out of there? But whatever, I guess you could just strap on some ropes and just pull it out yourself. Violations, this one is crazy. So $300 from airport authorities, which, you know, I've heard about people getting caught. I've never heard of actually people being fined. So Turo doesn't charge this. They're just letting us know that the airport authorities are going to charge them. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Violations may lead to your suspension from delivering to Phoenix. Okay, I wonder how many, like, you know, problems you have to have before you get that, and removal from Turo. So I don't know if this is if you do it once and get caught, or if you do it many times and get caught, but you'll get banned from Turo for this, which is like, I get it if you're just blatantly going against the rules, but I think that I don't know. Actually, I have nothing really to say about that, but that sucks. So if somebody's not following the rules, they go to one of the other parking lots and they get banned, now you probably know why. So drop off and pickup instructions, drop off economy lot only, which is reinstating where you have to drop it off. Pull a ticket from the entrance. Okay, this is pretty much just the notes on how to do it. Follow the signs. Okay, no more useful information. I have heard though, one last thing I'll note is violations may lead to suspension. I've heard that if you get caught at one of the wrong parking structures or breaking one of these rules, your account, not just the single car, like the whole account will get banned from bookings for a whole week, which some of you may say, well, it doesn't really matter. I'm willing to take the chances, but for an account that's making $200,000 a month, I mean, or for us doing $50,000 a month, like 1 week, that's $12,500 at 50,000, or that's 10,000 at 40,000. Like that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to lose. So just think about that. Be cautious. But I mean, hopefully they'll come up with it. I think it's always going to be this game of like Turo fighting the airport and the airport fighting Turo and the big car rental companies fighting everybody, especially Turo. So we're kind of at the mercy of everybody else. We obviously, as a host, don't have very much control. It's up to Turo to kind of fight for us and hopefully do the right thing, but only time will tell. So comment below if your airport is blocked by Turo, or if you guys have similar thing. I'm curious to see what states and airports have similar restrictions. I'm sure that everyone that has a contract with the airport has probably not the exact same thing, but something similar. You have to go to this lot. There's probably fees included. If you go to the wrong place, you're probably going to get kicked off after X period of time, or after doing it so many times, or you'll get removed for a certain period of time. I don't know. But comment below. Thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.